lot of people, their energy is just very jarring a lot of the time. Running up to people. Hey, what the fuck? They're so abrupt. And it just looks like they're doing something weird. Like they're running up. Like, what are you doing? Why are you running? And I'm sure that many can relate to this. You see somebody you want to talk to, but then your mind's like, you're just trapped in this like derp loop until they get about 2 feet away. You saw them from 40 feet away, and you had all that time as they meander slowly towards you. They're just meandering, they're taking their sweet time, and the whole time you're like, dar, 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 dar. And then they get here, and you're like, oh, it's now or never. So you blurt out some gibberish, but I like your thing. And they're like, and then they're gonna go like this. They're gonna be like, huh? Thank you. And they're gone. Or I also see this. Dar, dar, dar. Then they walk past, and I'm like, yo, are you gonna talk to him or not? And they're like, oh, now they gotta run up from behind, and what? And now the person's even more startled. Because it looks like you're a weirdo doing weird shit. In fact, that would probably be a good way to introduce yourself. Good evening, I'm a weirdo and I'm doing weird shit. Allow me to introduce myself. I mean, and that would probably work better. Because now you're laughing because it's so ridiculous, and you're not trying to make I hope they like me, I hope you like it. It's like, I'm a weirdo and I'm doing weird shit. Allow me to, because you're laughing, they're like, oh, okay, so again, now it's a collaborative thing. And again, they may or may not respond positively, but generally I find if I'm amusing myself and having a good time and inviting them to join me in that middle space, it's going to be a lot better than trying to get into their space. You got to become aware of these mechanisms of control, and you'll see yourself like getting into that paralysis state. It's very difficult to get out of that. It's very, very difficult. There are ways to do that, but it's not a situation you want to even get into in the first place. Now, by the way, there's a lot to unpack here, but again, with intuitive energies, how do you get better at that? Like, how do you get better at using intuition? Well, here's the thing. Intuition cannot be cajoled. It cannot be called forth. It cannot be commanded out of the depths. You know, it can simply be allowed. So there's 2 ways that you can exercise it directly. Number 1, you can feed it more soft data, right? So what does that mean? It means basically having more life experiences. It means being intellectually curious, reading a lot, traveling, things like that, where you just get a lot of experiences and information and knowledge in there to draw from. Number 2, you can exercise the letting go function, the allowing function. So practice this. Do things like make snap decisions on minor matters. When you get a text and you hear the phone buzz in your pocket, you feel it buzz, try to guess who it's going to be before you look at it. You know, little things like that over time. Or just simply become a blurter. Just start saying these things. You can fix it after. One of the things that we exercise a lot in the mentoring program is just imaginative muscles, because most people have not exercised those imaginative muscles probably since childhood. And so they will have atrophied. And it takes an active imagination, for example, to express a necessary feeling when you might not be experiencing that at that moment, like confidence or enthusiasm. Wherever I go, I will find something to enjoy in the environment before I start like interacting with people, because I know that if I'm not enjoying it, this is the fundamental first step. You can understand all of these arcane Byzantine techniques of how to converse with people, have memorized various stratagems and gambits. It shit ain't gonna matter if people won't even look at you. It's not gonna matter. There are 2 things that you must do to be successful socially. Number 1, you have to be able to create a vertical vibe. It's sort of this narrative stasis, like it does not move forward. It's simply a good feeling within yourself that you then emanate out and invite people to experience with you. Now, by the way, when I say a good feeling, doesn't necessarily mean just being like, oh, I'm so happy, everything's great. It could be a variety of things. It could be challenging. Again, one of my favorite ways to introduce myself to people is I go, don't fucking look at me. in like a, you know, kind of like a joking way. It's not like true antagonism. It's like, don't fucking look at me. Look away. Who are you? How dare you? How dare you gaze upon me? Like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, who the fuck are you? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it quickly becomes, get off that faux antagonism into like, well, hopefully, you gotta get off of that faux antagonism into, because it can quickly become real antagonism. There's something different. Look, here's the thing. Everybody's bored. You got to give them something different. Give them something different to talk about. And then make it easy for them to go along with your plan and not have reservations about it. So again, everybody's bored, give them something different to talk about. That's where that vertical vibe comes in. So I very often get clients who are very logical. Most people are very logical because, like I said, 90% of your conversations are information exchange, and that will serve you very well in the vast majority of your conversations. However, if you're out meeting people socially, that will not serve you because they're trying to get away from that. They're like just trying to forget about the stressful work week, unwind, have a good time, blow off some steam, and going back to this like logic world. So what do you do? Where do you live? Da, 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 da. It's like, oh, come on, man. I just want to get away from this for a little bit. Dude, no. No. Now, to be fair, later that can be useful once you've established some sort of interest. Because everyone thinks, I go in there and I'll establish comfort and trust and rapport with this random stranger first, and then I'll start to introduce like the angle, you know, the clientele thing or the romantic thing, whatever it is. I need to get rapport first, and that makes sense. But why would you even want rapport with somebody if there wasn't some interest there first? Let's say you're trying to date someone. That's going to happen very quickly or not at all. Like that interest is going to happen almost immediately or not at all. Like it's not going to happen through careful plotting and planning and then surprise, surprise. Like it's not going to happen. It needs to happen immediately. And the thing is, that does not mean you're rolling up on people and being like, what that smell like, you know, or some like very, you know, going in like the fist of an angry God. But that can all happen with like subtle things like eye contact and like the way that you're standing and just kind of the vocal demeanor, like the vocal tonality. It's like, good evening. They're like, oh, okay, I know what this individual is here for. Like it's very clear, but it's not in your face necessarily. And then I'm able to, again, go in and then back off. Yeah, so anyway, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then again, and then back off. And you're sort of like testing the waters gently and introducing it incrementally and allowing them to acclimate to this idea incrementally. It's called being smooth. You glide up. You don't, hey, you know, this jarring, frightening, like, running up and all this, doing weird shit. Look, honestly, in some ways, you need to be a good actor. You know, so if I see somebody that I want to meet and they're walking from afar, I'm not going to just go like, I'm not just going to walk up, like power walk up to them and then get in their grill. And that's what the vast majority of people are doing. Because why? Why are they doing that? Because they have no empathic accuracy. They're not looking at it from the other person's perspective. They're not like, how would that look if someone did that to you? There's power walking their ass up. And look, to be fair, they know why you're there. You're not fooling anyone by like doing this acting, but it just makes it less jarring. So, and again, my head will be on a swivel. I'm like, if I'm out, I'm looking and I'm like, okay. And I will casually, because I'm seeing this happen from like 40 meters away, I'm like, or you know, a good distance. I know what the vector is. I know where they'll be in 10 seconds. I know where they'll be in 15 seconds. I know what other people's paths will intersect with theirs. Like I'm running an algorithm for this, and I will casually sort of place myself in the general path, and I will then begin joking with my friend. I'll be like, oh, hey, da-da-da-da-da, and I'll act like I noticed them, as opposed to weirdo doing weird shit, running up on your ass. Like, so again, I was like, and I'll already be laughing, like I'll be joking with my friend genuinely, so that good energy is there. I don't have to turn it on. Like I see that a lot. People turn it on. They're not enjoying themselves in the environment, and they're like, time to do it, time to go introduce myself, and then they'll be like this. They'll be like, and then they go, huh? And then the person's like, yeah, nice to meet you, and leaves. And then as soon as the person leaves, they're like this. It's off. because it's not real. It's not real. And people can sense that. They can sense that it's not real. So again, the number one thing that you must do is learn to enjoy yourself in the environment if you're out meeting people. And let's face it, look, you know, one could say, oh, why all this rigmarole and you know, putting on this faux thing of pretending to notice. It's just, look, there's definitely a sense of performance when you're meeting someone for the first time, whether you initiated that or not. There's a sense of they're looking at you. They're like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what do you got? Particularly if you introduce yourself to someone else. They're going to be like, okay, all right, show me. I didn't come up to you. You came to show me. What do you got? And you know, you got to be able to just boom, boom, boom. And like, all I'm really trying to do is express my personality in a congruent and authentic way. And then, as I said, invite them to meet me in the middle. I'm not going to them. I'm not expecting them to come to me, but I'm going to meet them halfway. I'm going to put myself in that middle space, and this is a conceptual space, and I'm going to invite them to meet in the middle. And again, a lot of people, they're just not going to like it. They're just not going to be like, no, for whatever reason, not my style of humor, not interested in, you know, whatever you're proposing. Like, no, it's not for me. Cool. I'm not making it a big story about my life and what does it all mean? And I'm in my head and what does it mean about me and this, that. It means nothing. There's no emotional weight to it, right? That's I think the biggest flaw that most people are doing. And again, I get it. I understand why. How does one eliminate that sense of gravity to introducing yourself to people? How do you do that? Cognitive behavioral therapy, they call that extinction therapy, where you expose yourself to it in a controlled way over a period of time, so those triggers become less hot. Now, the trigger will always be there to an extent. When I go out, the very first time I go up to somebody on a given night, I will feel reluctant. You're like, really? 20 years you've been doing this and you still feel that reluctance? Yes. However, it's not really I wouldn't call it fear. It's just like a homeostasis. You know, there's a resistance to state change. I'm in this state. It's like when you wake up in the morning and you're in bed and it's just like comfortable. You don't want to get out of bed. Am I scared to get out of bed? No. But it's like 10 degrees cooler outside of the bed. I will have to experience mild discomfort for like 40 seconds. I'll just doom scroll TikTok for a while. By the way, one of the best things I ever did recently, I started just plugging my phone in on the other side of the room. This will change your life. If you're not doing that, it will change your life. It kind of sucks because you don't want to put it down when you're like, you want to, you know, drift off looking at the No, just put it over there and you'll wake up and the first thing you'll do for a while, you'll just be like, it's not there. You'll be like, you'll feel this like void in your heart, but your dopamine will thank you.
3 biggest takeaways from this Charisma Mastery Program. My life literally changed applying what I've learned and going through this process. Like literally, I reached like a dating life abundance. I went from, scarcity mindset to like, I can't stop getting laid. And things happened to me that I never would have thought were possible. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. I also, have so much more awareness of everything now, like facial armory in my face as I'm out and about, walking through my day, even talking to people. I can be aware, a lot more aware of when I'm closed off with my voice or my face, realizing that, hey, I'm getting back into those monotone patterns, and I can become aware of it and make a change or a correction. Just being in this vibe, in this tribe, really enjoying the journey